Walking out, y'all. We striking. It's over 80 degrees. It's almost 100 degrees in here. No air. We tired of these big ass corporations, these big ass jobs not giving a about us. We walking out. We out this. Not playing no games with these mother. Okay, kiss. No. You don't care about us. You don't care what happened to us, and it's crazy for us that you overwork us. You have nobody to work on these shifts, so you overwork the people that you have, and you can just show the people that you have you don't care about them.
That's a Planet Fitness worker in Durham, North Carolina. They're going on strike to demand better treatment on the job. The person you heard speaking, their name's Divine Evans. And together, workers showed that there's a lot of power in solidarity because Planet Fitness actually listened to their demands. So they started their strike on September 1st. So these demands were met within days. They were asking for immediate repair of broken ACs. Temperatures reached above 85 degrees inside the gym. I'm not even sure why people would want to work out in that temperature. They wanted to end sexual harassment, livable wages of at least $15 an hour, and respect of workers' right to organize, and more. Divine Evans said we shouldn't have to work in an environment where we feel uncomfortable or scared for our safety. So they won on every single demand they made. We have reporting from Raise Up the South that Planet Fitness workers in Durham, North Carolina have won big just 6 days after going on strike. The AC has been fixed. Workers get back pay, have returned to the schedule, and there will be an investigation of the sexual harassment allegations. When we fight, we win. Hashtag organize the South. The South is often written off as a place where progressive action can't happen. This is clear evidence that that's not really true. And it's a demonstration of independent worker power. These folks did not have a union, but they showed the power of coming together and withholding your labor. That's really how you get the bosses to listen to you. They walked out within 5 days of getting their demands met. I love this. It shows how much power workers have. Hot labor summer is not just about unions.
Yeah, look at that, guys. Look at that example. That guy said, we're not playing games with these mother effers. That's a hell of a thing to say about management. And he still got everything he wanted. You know why? Because they need you. They need labor. You can't run a Planet Fitness if there ain't nobody in it. You can't run anything if there ain't nobody in it. Okay? So they try to make it seem, and by the way, a lot of times through corporate media, which are also giant corporations, that workers have no power and should not have any power. And if they rise up to radicals, right? Well, it turns out you can't run a business without workers. So look, if they're putting you in brutal situations where where it's way too hot, you might have heat stroke, and a lot of places do that. I mean, this is a legendary story. This isn't the case anymore, but it was in the past, where Amazon had done a calculation that paying for an ambulance outside their warehouses would cost less than air conditioning the warehouses. So they would just wait for the workers to pass out, and they would take them to the hospital one by one rather than paying for air conditioning. You should walk out. Of course. Should you walk out in all circumstances? Of course not, right? It depends. If you're working at a good place, great, that's awesome. Enjoy it. Trust me, there aren't that many, right? So, but if you're at one of these places that's oppressing you and that's keeping wages down or whatever other situation might be happening, sexual harassment that no one's doing anything about, goddamn right you walk out, and all of a sudden, those bosses are like, we were going to fix it. We meant to fix the air conditioning. Of course, sexual harassment, oh, we're outraged. Now that you're not working anymore and we're not making any money, all of a sudden we're outraged. There you go.
Yeah, you can organize with your coworkers. Just have a conversation with them. They're working in the heat as well. And if you talk to everybody, guess what? They're not going to fire all of you. There's a lot of fear around, well, if we organize, we might lose our jobs. The company spreads all kinds of misinformation about being in a union, and they'd rather have a direct relationship with you. And why would you pay dues for something? You can just come together with your coworkers and say, hey, we don't like this, and this about the workplace. We're going to walk out and ask management to meet our demands. None of them were fired. They got their demands. They got higher pay. They got air conditioning. This can be done anywhere. This was organized in Durham, North Carolina. They did this on their own. If they can do it there, you can do it in your workplace.
Yeah. And last thing on it is that we talked about this earlier in the show, but the big union bosses have almost no victories. Workers taking action on their own, Amazon, Starbucks, teachers in Ohio, Planet Fitness in North Carolina, they all have results. They all have results because they actually dared to take action. And the union boss is like, no, 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 no. If you just work with corporate interests, eventually the corporate Democrats are going to pass the PRO Act. Well, did they? I mean, I've been getting in their grill the whole time. Prove me wrong. Labor bosses, show me something you did that was successful. Show me that one sentence in the PRO Act passed, because it didn't. And guess what? Over the next 2 years, it doesn't matter how many Democrats are in the Senate or in the House. The PRO Act isn't going to pass. None of it. None of it is going to pass. Why? Because the labor big bosses aren't going to fight. They're used to surrendering, and they will surrender to the corporate Democrats who raise more money from the corporations than they do from the unions, but they'll take both their money and do nothing for the unions.